What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Takeoff with Trevor. I know this content is a little bit different than what I usually do. The flight sim content is what I've been doing recently. But today, obviously, you guys see the title of the video. It's what I wish I knew before I started flight training. And this video is actually going to go really into depth about my journey as far as flight training has gone. I've been at the private pilot stage, trying to get my license for about 2 years now. Longer than that if you're including, like breaks in my training. So hopefully I can provide you guys some insight to things that you should know before you start your flight training. And also I just kind of want to share the story of what I've been through my journey, and hopefully I can help anybody along their way, of actually becoming a pilot. And that's really what I want to do here. I just want to help you guys out and give you guys some insight to what it's actually like. So the first thing that I really want you guys to know is that it is going to cost a lot of money. All right. I know that's a difficulty for a lot of people. Times are hard right now. The economy is not doing good in 2025, 2024. It's hard to get jobs, especially if you're young. Your parents may not have the means to help you become a pilot or anything like that. And I'm not going to tell you anything that the other pilot influencers are going to be telling you. The ones that are already airline pilots, maybe had, granddad or dad as a pilot, or they come from a well-off family or anything like that. What I'm going to tell you guys is that, if you can't get a loan or a co-signer for a loan, money is obviously the biggest thing whenever you're coming into flight training. Luckily, I was blessed with my family and everything, and we just got into a really fortunate situation where we could actually take out a loan on our house. And, it's a blessing in disguise. Obviously I gotta help my family pay it back and everything. But, the first thing I wish I would have done, though, so I can kind of stay out of the debt and just keep my family, unburdened by debt, is if I go back to whenever I was 19 years old. I'm 24, about to be 25 in 2025. If you guys did not know, the first thing I would have done whenever I was 19, right? I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I wish I would have gotten my A&P license. It's an aviation maintenance and tech license, to where you can actually be authorized to work on the airplanes that you're flying. And the reason I say this is because usually those programs are pretty easy to get into. You don't have to have a crazy GPA or anything. They do cost around $50,000 to get into. So if you need financial assistance or anything like that, usually you can go to a college. And I know my college that I went to, Middle Georgia State University, they offer a 2-year program, so you can get government assistance if you actually go to that school. If you find a university around you, you can get room and board and actually work on the planes. Those usually take about 2 years, right? And the reason I say that is because as I've gone through my pilot career, right, something I wished I've had is, one, more money. The aviation maintenance technicians, they usually make about $50,000 all the way up to $90,000 a year, depending on who you're working for, which is really, really good considering, you don't really have to have too much time put into it, and also you get to work on airplanes. So if aviation is something that you're truly passionate about, which you will be if you are on the path to become a pilot, you will eventually want an airplane. And this goes into another point, is if you want to buy an airplane, right, you're going to save so much money. For real, you're going to save so much money by doing your own maintenance on your own airplane, because you got to think about it. Obviously paying a professional aviation maintenance technician, but it's going to take a lot more money. It's going to take way more money out of your own pocket that, if you just had an AMT license or an A&P license, right, to work on your own airplane, it wouldn't be that expensive. All you have to do is just buy the parts, right? And every pilot eventually wants to own their own airplane, because you can fly it wherever you want. You just pay for gas and you're good to go, right? And especially if you're looking at becoming a private pilot, if you buy your own airplane, do your own maintenance on it, it's going to end up being a lot cheaper to actually maintain, and you're going to get your ratings a lot cheaper in the long run, because at the end of the pilot school, you're going to end up being able to buy a plane with how much money that you're actually spending on the actual flight school. So, I mean, it just goes hand in hand. You might as well just get both, you know what I mean, if you can actually afford it. That's why I highly recommend getting an AMT license. Also, it does help with your training, because you'll know the plane inside and out, literally. And that's something that a lot of people don't know whenever they actually get into flight school, is that you have to know a lot about the mechanics of the actual airplane and everything. That's something I wasn't even that sure about, whenever I came into actually going to flight school and everything. I know it's very naive of me, but definitely look into that if you aren't in the best financial situations. You should be able to get government assistance going to school. Don't take my word as cold hard truth. Definitely do your own research, but that would be my first recommendation of something that I actually wish I knew before I started flight school. Okay, so number 2 is, obviously the time constraint is a pretty big deal thing. It's a pretty big deal in aviation, right? Seniority is everything at the airlines. You want to get there as fast as possible. We all get it, right? But the point is throughout my journey of actually becoming a pilot, about to be a pilot, my check ride is literally this Saturday. I'm finishing up my flight portion. I've already passed the oral exam and everything. The weather just hasn't been good to fly, and I've had a lot of discontinuances. But anyways, that's aside from the fact of this. That's aside from the fact of this next point that I'm trying to make. So, if money isn't really an issue and your parents are willing to put you through flight school, I highly recommend going to ATP to get your ratings instead of a 4-year institution, because you don't really need a degree to become a pilot nowadays, at least in the days of 2025 and 2019. It's something I wish I would have known, but if you have the financial means and your parents are willing to help you out and co-sign on a loan, they have good credit, all that stuff, right? I recommend going to ATP. They get you done in 6 months. I mean, sometimes it can be 9 depending on weather and check rides is what I've heard. Check ride dates are a big thing. Make sure that you have DPEs in your area and plenty of them that are readily available, because if you don't, it's going to be hard to actually get exam dates to actually get your next rating, your next license, all that stuff, right? And that also goes into another point, is you want to make sure that you have good weather in your area and everything, and do your research on the actual flight school. Make sure they have enough planes for the amount of students and everything. There's a lot that goes into what I wish I would have known before I started flight school. If I could have done it differently, I would have gone to like I said, if I could have started over, I would definitely get my mechanic, my AMT. There's no problem with getting your hands dirty, especially at a young age. And if you think you're above it, then you're not. Okay, we've all had pretty crappy jobs. Getting your hands dirty ain't nothing new to me, anyways. I've worked in fast food and construction recently, all sorts of jobs. Honestly, really, my dream job is becoming a pilot for real. But anyways, yeah, if you can afford it, or you have the financial means, or your parents have the good credit, want to help you out getting through flight school, by all means, please look at ATP. They do have some tests that you got to take before you actually get into their program. It's like a spatial orientation exam. I remember taking it very vaguely because I had applied for the program, but the thing is that my mouse on my computer, right, it double clicks for some reason. So with that being said, ATP is a great program. They offer partnerships with airlines. You can get PSA cadet program. You can get Endeavor's cadet program. Any cadet program that you can really think of and get tuition assistance from. It's not much. It's about $30,000 on average. At least that's what I know with PSA, because I've been looking at them heavily recently. And that's kind of like my go-to regional airline, for reasons like the cadet program that offer tuition assistance and everything. But yeah, ATP, they'll get you done in 6 months, 6 to 9 months, depending on where you live. And they have a very structured program. They'll get you in and out really fast, but you do have to be dedicated to it. You cannot have a job while you're going there. It's just not part of the program. This is something for the younger guys. Again, like I said, this is what I would do if I were you and I was in your shoes looking at becoming a pilot right now. I would definitely go ahead and look at that program if you do have the financial means and your parents have good credit, because that loan is crazy. I think it's sitting about 100,000 or 70 or 90. It's in that range somewhere. But if you have the financial means to do it, you'll be making about six figures once you're actually in the airline. So it's not really a big deal. You feel me? So I would definitely look at going to a program like that if I were in your shoes starting over again. So yeah, that's my second point. All right, my third point is make sure that you know where you're training at. Make sure that you look at the weather patterns. Something that I wish I would have known before I started all this stuff is like, looking at the weather patterns and being like, all right, this place over here, it's pretty windy. Like, the Chicago area has a lot of wind. Lately, Charlotte, where I'm at, it's been windy. It's been really windy. I can't explain it. It's just the differential heating effect. If it's not wind, it's rain, and if it's not rain, it's clouds being too low or something like that, right? So that brings me into my third point. Make sure you know about your flight school, right? A lot of flight schools out here will make false promises of actually getting you through in 6 to 9 months, especially if they're a 141 or in a bad location, or they just have too many students and not enough planes. So make sure you do your due diligence and actually call up the flight school, do some tours. I wouldn't even book a discovery flight with them. I would just go over there, talk with some of the students, really network in the aviation space. Who is amazing, because you don't know, you might meet somebody who has a dad in a 135 operation that might be able to get you a good low time pilot job for your time building phase as a CFI or commercial pilot. And also just getting that knowledge of like knowing, all right, so this plane, or not this plane, but this flight school has planes that aren't well maintained. The students are complaining about it taking too long. These are red flags that you guys got to look out for, and it's something I wish I would have done earlier. A lot of people in the aviation community are very insightful and helpful, so they will help you out. You just have to go out and seek that help. Really, having a mentor is key. And if you're talking to somebody at that flight school and they're like, yeah bro, like it's been taking me 18 months to get my private pilot, that's a red flag. Make sure you look for something else. The 141 programs, like the colleges and stuff, honestly, I can't recommend them personally, because a lot of those schools, like, you'll go in there thinking that like, oh yeah, I'll get government assistance, financial aid to go to flight school, go and get my training done and everything. But all of that stuff has to be private loans, if you do end up going to a university to actually get your pilot ratings and everything. So again, it comes down to money and how much you're willing to spend and how much you're willing to put into it. Me, I never really had that option until recently. And I'm at the ripe age of 22 whenever I was starting this. So I had a job, I had student loans, because at the time I was going to college, and coronavirus happened, struggling with bills, and long story short, just kind of ran out of money for flight training. And I had a long pause until my family could actually find a way to financially support me through flight school. And even then, I'm still working. I've worked in construction full time during flight training. I've worked as a busser at a fine dining restaurant. I worked at Target. I worked at the YMCA as a personal trainer. So whatever you got to do to make ends meet and really become a pilot and make your dreams come true, absolutely do it. By all means, it is worth it. I 100% support anybody who is wanting to become a pilot. You got this. If you're on the road right now, you got this. You know, even if your stuff is getting delayed, you're having your flights delayed, just trust me, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep going. Keep going. Please keep going. It's going to be 100% worth it. The airlines are going to be hiring all the way up until 2030, 2035. So I hope this video touches somebody within that 10-year span. But by all means, make sure you're checking your weather patterns, where you're at, and before you get into flight school or wherever you're planning to go, because at the end of the day, it is all about seniority at the airlines. So the faster you get done with your flight school, the faster you're going to get that seniority number, and you're going to be able to move up through the ranks and make more money and have a better quality of life. And the airlines, from my understanding, that's what everybody says. So coming from the guy who's been in flight school for 5 years, 2 years getting my private pilot recently, by all means, please do your due diligence and actually look at your flight school and where they're located. And if you have to go out of state, please go out of state. If you're just now starting, it is worth 100% of the money to actually go there and start something great there. Start your flight training there. Start the rest of your life there. So not the rest of your life, but you know what I mean. Just start your career there. All right. So I'm gonna give you guys some top locations for flight training. This is just what I've read on the internet, and what I've seen. I've kind of been looking at weather patterns recently. A lot of people like Florida for coastal flying. Some of the winds there can be pretty bad. They have a lot of pop-up thunderstorms. So that's something that you got to keep in mind. It is going to make you a great pilot, though. There are a lot of great pilots coming out of Florida. Embry-Riddle is down there for a reason. It's one of the number one. Actually, it is the number one flight school to go to for university. If you do have the money, again, it costs about like $200,000 to go and actually get a degree there, and that doesn't even include your flight cost. So, if you can find a good flight school down there, I don't have any recommendations personally, but if you can find a good flight school down there that you can afford, or you do live in the Florida area, definitely look at becoming a pilot down there and search up some good flight schools and tour them. Like I said, talk to some of the students and see how it is over there. All right. Number 2 is Arizona. All right. So Arizona, they have a lot of clear, sunny days. It does get really hot. You probably won't be flying anything over like 104 degrees Fahrenheit. CFIs, they don't want to fly and get sweaty up in the plane with you, and also the engine might be running a little bit rough. Your performance decreases in hot environments, so that is something to keep in mind over there. That being said, like dry climates like Texas and California can also be great for flight training. Like I said, please do your research. Do not take my word for this, but if I had to start all over again, those would be my top 4 locations that I would look at. California is obviously the most expensive one. Texas is probably like middle ground. Arizona is the middle ground, and Florida is probably a little bit more expensive, on the expensive side. But absolutely, go ahead and check out the weather patterns in that area and call up a couple flight schools. Please catch a flight or do a road trip before you actually commit to going to flight school and packing up your bags and going over there for something like that. And do your due diligence on, rent prices and, cost of living before you actually go there. If you have the financial means, or your family is, or your family parents are supporting you through flight school. So I think that's all I really got to say about that point. Is that is something that I wish I would have looked more into. Is possibly going out of state to continue my flight training, or just get it all done, because I would have been done by now. I've been at this for 2 years. It's not even like, I can't even really say it's all my fault, because I've been having a lot of issues with the weather and just availability on the planes overall, especially at my last flight school. I'm not gonna really drop any names or anything like that, but yeah, I mean, it's just something I wish I would have known. It's something that you just kind of learn in hindsight, and this is what I want to give you guys, is my insight through hindsight of what I wish I would have known. So before I get my fourth point, if you're enjoying this video so far, please like, comment, and subscribe. It supports me so much, especially if you want to see more cool aviation content like I've been doing with the flight sims, or you just want more story time type of content like what I'm doing right now with you guys. You know, just support me in the channel. I'm gonna keep on uploading. I'm gonna try to upload every single week. I'm a pretty busy guy. I run a photography business. I do YouTube, and I'm also trying to become a pilot right now. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you are finding these tips insightful and helpful so far. Please, by all means, do that. But another thing I wish I would have known before starting flight school, is the amount of knowledge that goes into it. There are so many things. Like, all right, so you got weather, you got aviation law, you got actually learning how to fly the airplane, aerodynamics, you got physics are involved in airplanes. There's just basically a lot of knowledge that goes into actually flying the airplane, like knowing your airspace minimums, VFR weather minimums for private pilot, and that's just scratching the surface of all of this, guys. So something I wish I would have known before I started flight school is the amount of knowledge that, you know, actually goes into being a pilot. So even at the most basic level of becoming a private pilot, there is so much knowledge that you have to know, and I haven't even scratched the surface of becoming an instrument rated pilot. There's so much more knowledge that has to go into this, and especially with the CFI ground and the commercial ground, there's just a vast amount of knowledge that you have to know in order to become a pilot, and that is something I wish I would have known, is the amount of studying and everything like that goes into, you know, actually being a pilot. So that actually brings me to today's video sponsor / affiliate that I'm affiliated with, is Pilot Institute. So Pilot Institute offers comprehensive courses. There are a wide range of courses that cover everything you need to know for your FAA exams. They have flexible learning schedules, so you can study on your own time. They're self-paced, allowing you to learn at your own speed. So if you are really serious about becoming a pilot, I highly recommend Pilot Institute. They have a very high success rate. Pilot Institute has a high pass rate for students taking their FAA written exams. Pilot Institute also offers a 30-day, 100% satisfaction guarantee on all of their paid courses. So if you're not satisfied with the course content that they are providing you and the knowledge that they are providing you to actually become a pilot and fulfill your pilot dreams, they offer you a 30-day back money guarantee, and I highly recommend them. They are very high quality, and they will teach you everything that you need to know, all the way from your private pilot all the way up to your CFI and your multi-engine CFI. And you can check out my affiliate link in the description down below. And if that is something that you're interested in, help yourself out by clicking the affiliate link down below. I get a 20% commission off of that sale, so it really helps support the channel. And I very highly recommend Pilot Institute to help you through all your pilot ratings and everything. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check them out, guys. And if you haven't done, and if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe if this was very insightful. And I'll see you guys in the next video that I make. If you guys have any suggestions about what I should do, please comment down below. It helps the channel out so much. And thank you everybody for your continued support. I've been feeling the love from the aviation community. I've been getting so many views. I absolutely love the love, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully we can do some travel content on this channel, or just some flight vlogs once I actually get my check ride done. And hopefully I can help you guys become instrument rated pilots if that's something that you want to get into, or I can just offer more insight into becoming a private pilot. But until then, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, I have some of my flight sim videos up in the upper right hand corner. If you want to go and check those out, I was landing an aircraft, I was landing an aircraft on an aircraft carrier. But I've also landed the Dark Star over here, and I was landing at the three hardest airports to land at right here. So if you're interested in any of those, please click on one of these boxes right here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, click this right here.